Brave New World was written by Aldous Huxley and released in 1932, the same time as the utopia that was the Roaring Twenties had turned into the dystopia of the Great Depression. The book is set in 2450 London and is about a global society that rose after a catastrophic world war, referred to as a 9 Years' War. This war caused the world economy to collapse, which caused the new world leaders to impose their own rules and create one world state. Obviously, it severely backfired, leading to protests and massacres, so the world leaders decided to create the society that is written about in the book. In our world, we can see the world controllers as corporations who are using their money to influence our government. The story revolves around Bernard Marx, who doesn't accept the world around him and uses him to show the effects of the Society of Brave New World. When it was released, it was instantly met with controversy due to people's inability to understand the philosophy behind it, and schools all over the world banned and continue to ban the book, only proving Huxley's point. Drugs play a huge role in the Brave New World. They're essentially what keeps everyone in line in a denial of reality. In this case, they use something called Soma, which is a little pill given out by the government that basically takes you out of reality and puts you into a false world of happiness and perfection. Huxley describes it by saying, the warm, the richly colored, the infinitely friendly world of summer holiday. How kind, how good-looking, how delightfully amusing everyone was. However, in our world, there are many different kinds of drugs that achieve this same effect. For example, in the medical field, we have SSRIs or antidepressants, which stop the reuptake of serotonin, allowing the body to have a lot more, therefore improving a person's sense of happiness and well-being. Very similar to Soma, but without the psychedelic effects. According to the NCHS and National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, 12.7% of Americans over the age of 12 have used an antidepressant between 2011 and 2014, which is a 65% increase from 1999. Along with this overprescription, people have become dependent on this fake happiness, and according to the same study, a fourth of users have been on it for more than a decade. Doctors, including people themselves, have begun to use medication too quickly instead of fully exploring other options, and it shows in the 33% increase in suicide rates from 1999 to 2014 reported by the APA. Obviously, our situation isn't as severe as in Brave New World, but our government is condoning these practices, letting them grow into who knows what. The way we see reality or perceive the world around us is unique to every one of us, and it is this diversity that creates debate, discussion, and critical thinking, but most importantly, it keeps us from being suppressed. However, in Brave New World, all of these different ideas and viewpoints have been conditioned out through hypnadia and repetitive slogans, such as a gram is better than a dam. This conditioning forces people to deny their reality for the ones put into their heads and continue to allow themselves to be completely oppressed. In our world, there are no conditioning centers, but the overuse of advertising and a curriculum that peddles false narratives does the same thing. One area advertisements affect us surprisingly are physical health. In an experiment done for the NCBI that wanted to measure the priming effects of ads on food choice, it found that children ate 45% more junk food when exposed to ads that glorified it. Things like this create lifelong unhealthy tendencies not only towards food but other areas of our lives ads effects such as body image, self-esteem, and materialism. Conditioning in the Brave New World was mainly focused on children, in specific their education, where instead of allowing kids to form their own opinions, they are told how to think and act. We can see this when the little boy Tommy didn't know what the longest river in Africa was, but could perfectly recite the answer that was told to him. Our education is doing the same thing by dumbing down our curriculum and programming students instead of allowing them to think for themselves. From my experience, high school was too easy, simply because all you had to do was regurgitate the information or memorize the study guide. The NCES reported that as of 2017, American 15-year-olds were slightly above average in reading, in science, reading, and mathematics, while still being the second largest spender on education in the world. Education has turned into something that's put into us instead of discovered for ourselves. John Taylor Gatto, an author and teacher for 30 years, says, when you take the free will out of education, that's when it turns into schooling. The kids rapidly and mindlessly writing down notes in the beginning of the book is exactly what happens in all classrooms. We have the resources and abilities to fix these problems and enlighten instead of program students, but our government chooses not to. Hopefully, it doesn't lead to the level of mindlessness in Brave New World. In conclusion, the track we as a society are on is not leading anywhere good. Similar to the citizens of Brave New World, we have been stuck into a false reality that has been fed to us our entire lives through drugs, conditioning, and master narratives. We have the resources and knowledge to pull ourselves out though, and the first step is recognition. This book took that step by showing the end result of our American ways. And now the rest of the work to change society is up to us and the way we live our lives.